concerns. Tip number one, look for the possibilities. Tip number two, give yourself and others grace as well as clear expectations. And tip number three, relish getting comfortable and recognize the value of staying flexible, even within these changed circumstances. Every spring, folks celebrate, and why not? The promise of new beginnings. And new beginnings can be wonderful. They can also be a little scary. And in any change, whether it's organizational, global, community, or family oriented, we go through a transformation that is partly about the change that happened and partly about how we choose to handle it. So tip number one, look for the possibilities. Now, there are going to be some folks who are going to say, oh my God, here she goes about that whole silver lining thing. Yes, but no. Listen, in project management, we just call it risk management. Absolutely, you want to look for those places where there are opportunities to help yourself and your team make it through the various stages of the transformation due to the change. And that's good. But you also want to be clear-headed about the possibility that there might be problems down the road. And let's face it, we're in the business of trying to address those problems before they have a chance to get to be too big or to actualize and, do something about it. Tip two, give yourself and others grace and clear expectations. When I first started working in facilitation, teaching, instruction, however you want to call it, I was delighted to be working for someone who was one of my heroes in the project management community until I wasn't, because she'd sold the company. And shortly after it was announced, she and the new president of the larger organization called everyone together on two separate conference bridges, and together they told everybody about what to expect in the coming days, weeks, and months. And then she disconnected us from the larger bridge and everybody else, and essentially did something that I've always remembered. She said, okay, look, this was not what you expected, and some of you are not real happy about this, and I get that. And some of you might be not unhappy, but a little bit anxious, and I understand that too. So take the next hour, call whoever you need to, speak to whoever you need to, scream if you need to. Don't scare anybody though. Ask yourself, why? Why are they doing this? And what does this mean to me? And ask yourself any question you have. But after that hour, I expect everybody here to go back and be the professionals I know you are. Focus on the business of the business. Now, if you still have any other concerns, you know how to reach me. And I'm happy to talk to any of you one by one in a small group, whatever's most comfortable for you. But in the meantime, after this hour, I know I can count on you to be professionals, adults. And she was right. Grace was, call me if you still have questions or concerns. The clear expectation, I count on your professionalism. I count on the fact that you're adults and you'll get back to business. Worth thinking about. Tip three, relish getting comfortable with the new circumstances and keep aware of the value of being flexible. After all, This won't be the last time that all of you are going to experience a change. I was part of the employee population that went through something called divestiture. It was, up to the time that it occurred, the largest breakup of a firm that anybody knew of, and it was messy. We even had something we called business card bingo. Whoever had the most cards with their name, different logos, different titles, but the same job description, everybody else had to buy them around. But we also developed an attitude. You've got a great boss? Awesome. And don't get too comfortable. You don't know how long you're going to have that great boss. Of course, there's the flip side. Oh, you've got one of those bosses. Sorry about that. But don't worry. You don't know how long you're going to have that boss. So, grit your teeth, power through it. You don't know. Could just be a matter of a couple of months. We always kept our fingers crossed either way. You see, change requires transformation of everyone who's involved in it. And there are a lot of people involved in that. We have to let go of what we've always known. We have to be willing to actually look at accepting the change. And then we get to the point where we've accepted the change. And this is now what is normal for us. The circumstances are what we are going to be expecting to see every day. And it will be that way right up until the very next change. And we're going to have to go through that whole cycle over again. So look for ways that you process these kinds of changes and you go through these transformations that could maybe help one or two or all of the members on your team. Invite them to share tips and ideas about how to get through these transformations. Because regardless of how long it takes or how often it happens, we still have a responsibility to our stakeholders, to our sponsors, to our clients, and frankly, to ourselves. To be professional, to uphold the quality of our professionalism, to be adults, to get that sometimes the change isn't what we wanted. Okay. Sometimes the change is, and the transformation is a little harder than we wanted it to be. It's going to keep happening, not just at springtime. So let's try to find better ways that we can help our teams process too. This video was brought to you by the Leadership Driven Project Management Academy. Join our group on Facebook, won't you? And, like or subscribe here. I'm Kimi Hiro Tsuzimski. Thanks for joining us.